Hey guys, it's Morgan, and today I'm going to be reviewing My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Fredrik Backman. I am a part of a booktube tour for this book. It is hosted by Loving Dumb Books. I have links in the description box for Loving Dumb Books, the author Fredrik Backman, and a giveaway where you can win a copy of this book. And I highly suggest entering the giveaway, as this is a really, really good book and you won't want to miss it. Now, this review is sponsored. I was sent a copy of this book in participation with the booktube tour, but these are completely my opinions. They are not biased. I read this book just like I would read any other book, and I absolutely loved it. So again, go down and enter the giveaway. You won't want to miss this book. Now, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, if you've seen my latest video, you know that I implemented a new rating scale, and that would be this. So I definitely want to go in and say that this is a love it book. Like I said, I'm not biased towards the fact that they sent me this book, but it is a very good book. It has all of the emotion and all of the emotion and all of the laughter you would want from a novel without being too sappy and without being too generic at all. This is almost like a Roald Dahl book for adults, and it's so good. I can also compare him a little bit to Jasper Fforde. He is a really good author, and this has some elements of his books. It's whimsical, it's awesome, and I cannot wait to read more. The next book that I'm hoping to read by him is Britt Marie Was Here, which is actually based on the next adventures of one of the characters in this book. Okay, so let me get to the one bad thing about this book. There are cuss words. And for me that wasn't a big deal, but that might be a big deal for someone who doesn't want to read cuss words. So I'm just going to lay that out there that cuss words are a thing in here. Now for the good stuff. So, there is so much in this book that is good. Number one, it's a super nerdy book. So many times they reference Harry Potter, they reference Lord of the Rings, they reference Doctor Who, all of the things, they reference everything under the sun that is super duper geeky, and it's so awesome. As you can probably tell from the fact that I'm surrounded by books, I am a super geeky person. And the fact that this book referenced a bunch of stuff that I love, it made me love this book even more. This book was also terribly sad. I was crying at the end. Actually, I'm going to insert a clip here. This was me towards the end of the book. So I am about 40 pages from the end of My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and I am so in tears. Don't know how late it is, but I'm dying, and this book is killing me slowly. This is really emotional. I'm trying really hard not to spoil you guys, because that's not what I want to do, but it's really hard when my face is covered in tears and it's like 5 a.m. and I have no one that I can tell, and yeah, so read this book if you want to cry your eyes out. So that happened. Yeah, I cried my eyes out, obviously. It was really sad. I had a really hard time not recording one after I finished the book, because oh my god, I was crying so hard. But yeah, so this book is definitely emotional, but it's also hilarious, and there are some really funny moments. If you notice, I'm being very vague, and that is because I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you to go out and read it. I want you to love it. So I'm being as vague as possible. If this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm being as vague as possible so I don't spoil y'all on anything. I will say that if you like books like Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle, you will love this. The interconnectedness of that book is very similar to how this one is interconnected. You know, in the beginning you're like, oh, these characters are different, they're all the different stories, and they're not the same characters, and they don't all connect. Then at the end you're like, oh, it all connects. I actually, at one point, I started making a chart of where all the characters connect, and I would show it to you, except again, spoilers, don't want to spoil you, but almost every character in this book connects, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting to watch our heroine puzzle through it. Speaking of our heroine is 7 years old, and it makes for a very interesting reading experience, because you never know what's true and what's not towards the beginning, because she is a kid, and because, you know, you don't know what is real. You don't know, you never really know if Miamis, the place that her grandmother takes her to, the fantasy place, is real. And that's a really interesting thing. It's a kind of a new version of the untrustworthy narrator, I believe is what you call that. And it's a very interesting thing to read. And so, again, this book is really cool and interesting. I don't know what to say nitpicky-wise, because a lot of my reviews, half of them are nitpicks. And I don't know what to say, because it's just a good book. I really loved it. It's just good. It's a really good book. But, yeah. This is all of my markings. I started marking a couple weeks ago. I started marking everything that I liked in a book. And I didn't mark the last half because I was too wrapped up in the story. Elsa is the sort of child who learned early in life that it's easier to make your own way if you get to choose your own soundtrack. She can recite more or less all of Harry Potter by memory. She can outline the exact superpowers of all of the X-Men and knows exactly which of them Spider-Man could and could not take out in a fight. And she can draw a fairly okay version of the map at the start of The Lord of the Rings with her eyes closed. Unless Granny is standing next to her, tugging at the paper, and moaning about how this is insanely boring, and how she'd rather take Renault out and do something. This book has some memorable quotes, and it's just a good book. So again, I'm gonna say, go out, get yourself a copy of this book, read this book, you will not regret it. Again, you can enter the giveaway through the link in the description, and yeah, that's about all I have today. Just a really good book. It's a really, really good book. What else can I say? It's fabulous. Read it, please. My name is Morgan. This has been a YA Wizard review. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. It would be nice if you did. Bye, humans.